Thanos. I mean, I think that they're going to need all the help they can get.
Yeah, definitely.
So at some point, he's going to don it, and it's going to be interesting to see what they bring to the suit that is not in the original suit, because there has to be a step up in some way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's got to do things that he can't even think of, and I think that. How do I want to put this? I don't know, take it away, bro. Take it away.
But anyways, I definitely think that could be like a mashup between the two different suits. Like, it could have, this character, like a camouflage mode from 2099 suit, and then, it could also fly around like the Iron Spider suit, and, it could have claws like this one and spit venom and all that stuff like the 2099 suit, or, I really hope that they do like a mashup like that with it, because they kind of overdid it a little bit, even though it was really cool with the spider suit that they has now. Because originally he doesn't actually have all of those gadgets.
Okay, right.
In the comics, but the fact that they added it to this suit kind of overstepped a little bit, in my own opinion. I mean, it didn't overstep. It was really nicely done, but he didn't actually have all that stuff to begin with.
Well, that was the whole reason that Stark took the suit away.
Right.
So
he basically learned to be Spider-Man without all the fancy gadgets and stuff like that.
And that was why the training wheel program was put in place.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll bleed into our next main topic a little bit, because I want to speculate on this. So we'll say he dons the Iron Spider suit. That pretty much unanimously agree that's going to happen in Avengers. Yeah. How do you go back from that? You know what I mean? What does Homecoming 2? He's going to still be wearing it. Does he go back to regular Spider-Man? You know what I mean? Because that seems like a very special. It's time to save the world, son.
Well, so
or you go to Bagman.
I have
from Iron Spider right to Bagman.
All right, everybody hashtag we want Bagman.
Yeah,
let's get it going.
Whoever the fuck is out there, if you're making these movies or if you have some creative input, just please do it. If anything, to shut him up.
even if it's just a fan film.
Would
or
I look
whatever.
better with a paper bag on my head?
So let
do
me
it, please.
real quick. We're going thoughts on Phase 4. I have a theory, and I'll tie this into your question about the Iron Spider suit. It's going to be a little long-winded, but at the very end, the only big twist in that movie really was Pepper Potts is back, which we all thought she was gone, that the actress thought she didn't want anything to do with it, and like you were saying, as one of you were saying, they are going to have the press conference to announce Spider-Man. He decides not to do it. They have to get these reporters, who are not bloggers, by the way, they have to give them something, so Tony Stark asks for, quote, the ring from Happy, and it's a wedding ring, so we assume he's going to go out and propose.
Which he's had since
2008. Which is really strange. He's just carrying this wedding ring around. I liked Happy in this movie. He was really good.
Yeah, I'm glad he got some screen time.
John Favreau.
I think, this is my theory, I think Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man, is going to die in Infinity Wars, because I think they finally, let's be honest, he's never been happy. He's always been a depressed, sad sack of shit. He's an alcoholic. He's always causing problems.
You know how many Starks he's worth?
Yes, but personally, in his personal life, and now he's finally got Pepper back. He's gonna ask her to marry him. He's finally happy. I think you kill him now to have the full weight of it, and then this is how I tie into your question. Iron Spider suit only runs off arc reactors. If Tony Stark is dead, there's nobody to make arc reactors.
Well, we did see in one of the crates.
There's a bunch of them, but they're finite. We know that. The only one that was infinite was that one he built.
The triangle one.
The triangle one. He's not going to just produce a bunch of infinite, because if those things fall into people's hands, I think those ones are like batteries, for
they'll run out after a
suit
while
and stuff like that. And I think the Iron Spider suit will run off of one of those batteries, if you will, and with him dead, there's nobody to make it.
So he goes back to his
he has to use it sparingly when it's only necessary.
Yeah. Okay. Which would be
that could be your way to work around. Why isn't he just using the Iron Spider suit on Electro or something? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's because, quite frankly, it's going to be strange, because this is all building to the culmination, the big. We got to take down Thanos. So essentially, you're getting to the top of the pyramid, and then you have to have a steady glide in Phase 4.
Yeah.
And then another peak. They'll bring in another villain or whatever it is. There has to be another big get together.
Yeah.
But they've got a lot of storytelling to hit that peak, and then they have to deal with all of the situations that they've created across multiple directors, taking these movies in the helm afterwards. So they have to make it so either something's irreversible, like you said, that Iron Man dies and they just write him out. We all know that Robert Downey Jr.'s contract is coming up.
Same
or
thing.
they have to do something they can get back from. Yeah, that's what you have to put on the Iron Spider suit, but they make it in a certain way that they can explain it afterwards.
Yeah.
He's not wearing it anymore. You're right. So it's all right. Moving in to Phase 4. Is there anything else that you guys want to talk about in regards to Spider-Man? Or
there was the little Easter egg about.
I had a couple.
Scorpion? Okay,
couple.
Right, yeah, go ahead then. Let's not jump the gun. Go ahead.
I had a couple Easter eggs actually, but yeah, the Scorpion was actually supposed to be in it. They actually kind of did it twice. The original character that donned the Shocker gauntlet, which was actually the Crossbones gauntlet from Civil War, but they just used it as the Shocker. Name was Mac Gargan, which is actually in the comics as the original Scorpion. And then afterwards, it was actually
the Ultimate Universe Scorpion, right?
Yeah, the one guy that was on the ferry that was, arrested for the homicide and all that stuff. He was actually in prison after Michael Keaton went to prison, and he was seen talking to Michael Keaton about possibly bringing up the Scorpion for the next movie. So they're definitely bringing that into there.
I thought personally they missed a huge opportunity there, and they should have had the Kingpin.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's all around New York City. That would have been a great time. Even just like a subtle one. You know what I mean? Just he's in a cell while you pass by.
Yeah.
That's all it takes really to
He doesn't even have to say anything. He just has to be there.
Before we hit Phase 4, because that was the big one that I wanted to talk about was, and this is really far-fetched, I understand. It probably could never happen, but Spider-Man decided at the end to stay close to the ground.
Yeah.
Could there be a potential to cross over Spider-Man with the Marvel TV series on Netflix?
I think it's going to be up to...
I know there's a lot of... Sony has to approve it and
yeah,
blah, blah, blah. But the other thing that I was
man.
thinking was, what if, we've heard kind of rumors before that the next phase is going to have a lot of buddy cop, if you will.
Okay.
Oh, the buddy movie?
Could Marvel try to use that to get these lower characters that obviously can't stand alone in a movie alongside of somebody like Spider-Man, like a Daredevil Spider-Man team-up? I could see that happening.
I don't know so much about Netflix. I think they
on the big screen, like a Spider-Man movie and Daredevil. Daredevil is the buddy to the cop.
You heard it here, folks. Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker are getting back together. Rush Hour 4, come to you. No, I think that I don't think they're going to do it. Honest, it's disappointing. They keep preaching that these shows are connected. The TV series and the movies are connected, but there have been so many instances. I mean, you literally just had one in a movie we watched 3 days ago.
Yeah.
That, this is could have just been an easy Easter egg. You just have to pass by fat Mr. Clean looking ominous in a cell, and you've got your tie-in. And there's so many times they could have done this.
We know the Kingpin is a huge villain to Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, that would be, if there was going to be a linchpin between the universes, it would be Spider-Man and the Kingpin.
What's the actor's name? I can't remember his name now, but he is phenomenal. He could jump from the TV. I mean, he's in movies anyways. He's so good.
My God.
Yeah,
he's
absolutely.
So good. He is too. I just don't see it happening, man. Unfortunately.
I mean, the only way I can see a crossover like that is not actually with the Netflix series. I think it's more likely that it would happen with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. You know what I mean?
Because that's been the major tie-ins is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Because if you notice, the movies never reference the shows, but the shows always reference the movies. And the only other time that the shows, or the movies and the shows have, acknowledged each other was actually Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Because you had a couple of characters like... what was the one chick's name there? She was Robin in How I Met Your Mother, but she was Nick Fury's right-hand agent.
Okay.
The female there.
Okay.
She actually showed up in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and then Thor, or the Asgardian chick that fights alongside Thor, which actually has a crush on Thor, actually shows up in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Okay. So that's what my point is. What the
I don't watch it.
Lady Sif,
yeah,
Lady
she's
Sif,
badass.
But I think that's the only way that we're gonna get that is if he'll show up in S.H.I.E.L.D. somehow, maybe helping out damage control or doing whatever for them, or just be like, hey, here's Spider-Man, da 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 da. You'll see a clip of him on screen, and that'll be it. But
at this point, it's go big or go home.
Yeah.
In regards to tying the two together, is either they need to do it in a big way, or they need to back off and just let them exist separately.
Yeah.
This little tease. I mean, I'm a nerd, but there's a lot of nerds out there. You're gonna piss somebody off, man.
Yeah.
The one
crossover,
the one crossover I could see, and it's tiny, but it would give me a chuckle. I could see something like Daredevil beats the crap out of or takes out a guy who's stealing a backpack that's been webbed to a garbage can in New York City.
Yeah.
That would be funny.
Or like
Daredevil,
Charlie Cox Daredevil is just walking down the street, and then he just happens to look up, and there's a guy stuck to a web.
Yeah.
It's
I
just
see something like that. I don't understand the reluctance between lashing these two that much tighter together. I don't know if it's like a budget thing or what.
I'd say they don't want to pay the people they have in these TV roles more, because if you bring them over to movies, those contracts go. You're in trouble.
Unfortunately, I mean, just do a fan service. Just do it.
Yeah.
Marvel. All right.
You are owned by Disney, who owns all the money in the world.
Basically.
You ever seen a horde of pissed off nerds?
Well, you're about to if you don't do this.
Exactly, yeah. There's a reason that zombie movies are so popular.
Let's see, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, Easter eggs.
Yeah, okay, Easter eggs, that's right.
Well, I had a couple more to...
Right, let's wrap that up and head into Phase 4.
Alright, so basically just going to run through these. You seen Betty Brant in the New School video, who was J. Jonah Jameson's secretary. Michelle Jones, supposedly she's the new Mary Jane, or MJ.
I think that was more... And I'm worried that's the same thing with Scorpion, is they're red herrings.
Yeah.
I think they're supposed to be Easter eggs, you get more out of it.
Yeah.
But I don't think that will actually be the actor playing Scorpion. I think it's going to be a bait and switch. Like that they would shock. I mean, so obvious. You know what I mean? Like, comes up, he's got a scorpion tattoo on the side of his neck. Like, they're basically like, this is definitely Scorpion, guys, believe us.
Yeah.
So I think, they're going to pull it out at the last minute, and they're going to cast somebody else if they decide to go with Scorpion.
Let's see. The voice of Karen, Spider-Man's suit AI, was actually Jennifer Connelly, which was Betty Ross in the very first Hulk movie.
And fun fact, Vision's wife, the actor who plays Vision.
Yeah, they're actually married. And also Liz Allen, believe it or not, was actually introduced before Mary Jane Watson, the Amazing Spider-Man #3.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yep.
Huh.
Yeah.
Oh, and also there was an amazing Ferris Bueller homage, which was my favorite scene in the movie. But
that's good. That was a really good.
That was pretty good. That was
I'm actually curious. One thing they don't explain that might kind of poke holes in it is the goggles that he wears when he wears like the homemade.
They blink.
They still have like the blinking action. So I'm curious. Obviously, he's like a genius scientist. You know, it's been debated that he might even be Tony Stark level at peak intelligence. But how he actually got that to work, because they just kind of, these are goggles and they just do it.
Yeah. Well, there's some things that really, do they need explanation?
Yeah, let's not fall into George Lucas territory where we have to explain everything.
Yeah.
Please, let's not do that.
But, I mean, I think they walked a very fine line, because it almost was like an origin story, but it wasn't.
Thank God we didn't get to see,
well, just, we
didn't...
pushing him back into, like, the homemade suit and things like that. They definitely shouldn't have done an origin story. They knocked it on.
Yeah, because who wants to see Uncle Ben die again?
Exactly.
P.S. DC, the next time you reboot Batman, we don't need to see his parents die.
That's true.
Yeah.
So if I see Uncle Ben die one more time, I'm going to be the one that fucking kills him.
Yeah. Every time I meet an uncle named Ben on the street, I'm just going to stab the fucker.
Your days are numbered. I just want you to know that. But,
great power!
I'm getting a tattoo. Anyway,
Oh, and then Stan Lee was also seen in the common building after he stopped the supposed carjacking.
Stan Lee's obligatory cameo.
Yeah.
I'd actually like to take a moment. I know his wife passed away soon.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that, sir. That sucks.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Stan Lee's wife.
69 years they were married.
I think it was Joan Lee was her name. Rest in peace, Joan Lee.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for your service and your wonderful characters. So, do you have any more points, or?
Nope.
Hop into Phase 4 then?
Phase 4.
So I already gave my big theory on Phase 4. Does anybody else have like a...
Well, actually,
I could almost tie that into the arc reactor.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Maybe what, expanding upon it more, there was, I think IGN was the first to report it, an article, with a set photo that looks like Tony Stark has another arc reactor in his chest.
It's the shirt, right?
In his actual,
it's like
actual
one.
flesh and blood chest, not in his suit chest.
So
in his